hello.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Happy Tuesday. I hope everyone is having a good week so far. I want to real quick ask those of you with wrenches in the chat to please watch for trolls. Marsha is here. Mark is going to be late, and my couple of backup people can't be here either. I know there are quite a few of you in there with wrenches, so please watch for trolls, please. All right, so I am joined by everybody below me has been on before. Caddy Corner is Marsha, Red Cardinal Treasures. You always see her in the chat. She's who Mark is always late. He said, "Oh, my usual late." I'm like, okay. So Marsha's normally the one dropping links for me and helping moderate. Roy and Kim have been on as well before Arcade Treasure Center. And as always, Rod. It was so funny. Brad said, "Who's on the show?" And I said, "Roy and Kim and Marsha." He's like, "Why isn't Rod coming on?" I'm like, "Rod's there every week." He thought Roy and Kim were like separate, and it was like, and I'm like, no, it didn't specify. I'm like, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. So I'm going to make Roy and Kim big, and then Marsha, let them introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about themselves, and then we will get to your questions. So here is Roy and Kim.
Hi, everyone. How are you doing?
Hi, guys.
We are Arcade Treasure Center, Roy and Kim, my lovely wife, the better half. We've been selling on eBay since 2011, but we've been doing reselling since, let's see, how long we've been married now?
Going on 33 years.
At least 33 years in our married life, and probably a little bit before that in mine. So we're glad y'all made it today. And if you got questions, hey, put them in all caps, and I'm sure all of us will be happy to answer them.
Perfect. Here's Marsha.
Hey guys, Marsha with Red Cardinal Treasures. Again, you usually see me modding in the chat. And I am on eBay, Whatnot, Instagram. I guess that's it. And YouTube. I forget about that one. Trying to start getting videos back up again. I started a few years ago and then got out of it. Hey, Caroline. So join me over there. And I do have a Whatnot show this Thursday at 8 p.m. So make sure to bookmark that.
Perfect. Yeah, I have to schedule a couple of Whatnots. I think that's going to be on my to-do list for tomorrow to make myself do them. Because if I don't do that, then I don't do them. So let's see. Noreen wants to know, do you think having lots of views on items but very few watchers, do you think that's indicative of pricing being too high?
Well, since we're in the hot seat.
You are in the hot seat.
Yeah, I'm really going to say no, not necessarily. In my opinion, I think that's going to be depending on the item. It could be an item that is intriguing to someone or people, and they click on them because I can have items that are watched or a lot of high views and may not sell for quite a while. On the other hand, if you're not looking at your comparison pricings to other people, and it could be a lot of times the shipping is not so much just the price itself, is what I've come across. Now, other people may have seen things different, but also having a YouTube channel for me, it makes it a little more difficult because you've got those people that go over and look at your store and then they see things and they put it on watch list because you may have mentioned it in your video. So I can't really say that 100% that, it's kind of both ways, but I have items that has had lots of views, and what I do is if they just don't sell, I'll either run a discount. We'll talk about it, maybe mark down the item or do research, because if it's been sitting for a while, prices of stuff does change, sometimes better and worse. So sometimes I think that makes a difference.
Yeah, it could be that. It could also be people just other sellers comping things too. Clicking on it just to do comps, but doesn't want to watch it. I don't really pay attention to views that much, so it doesn't really matter to me.
So, I mean, a couple different things. If it's a one-off item, like for example, like I listed a Disney pin up on my eBay store, and I listed for $2,500 because there's no one else that actually has that pin. So that again might get a ton of views on that one just because it's so unique. No one else has it on eBay. There's none sold. Last one sold years ago. So it just could be a one-off item that's very intriguing to people. Also, too, though, I mean, if you're getting people to click on it and you're getting a lot of views on it, then you're doing something right. Either you have good photos, you're pricing the item right, so that's a good sign. At that point in time, if you go 30 days and you're getting a lot of views and just not a lot of watchers or people sending you offers or biting on that, then you may want to adjust your price or look at comps, because the market does fluctuate all the time. But I mean, having a lot of people take a look at it first, it means that you're doing everything right to start off with. You just got to figure out if it's not selling, what the next step would be.
Yeah, I'm like Marsha. I don't pay attention to the views at all. I have almost 7,000 listings, so that would take me hours and hours to even go see how many views are on each item. It could be indicative of that, but again, it might not be. I don't pay attention to them. I don't think, because you only need one view to get a sale. I've said that before. I'll say it again. I would say check your pictures and just make sure everything is there, and just watch and see how, I would want to know how long of a time you're getting a lot of views as well. All right, we have 2 new members. I'm going to click them and give them both the new, we have the new member super chat. So I think both of these ladies have been in my membership before. So we have Vicky and Miss Val, Vineyard Edge, who is one of my biggest supporters over on Whatnot. I will say now is a good time because it's the beginning of the month. So this Saturday is live sourcing. Next Thursday is listing reviews. And we have live shipping every other Monday too. So thank you, ladies, for joining. And where did it go? I got to find it now. Oh, here it is. It's a turtle. I asked Gino to make me a turtle. Here you go. I like this.
No,
I like it.
You know, Kim's jealous now.
Look, cat.
I
love sea turtles. My whole
I
house.
like sea turtles more than dolphins. People ask me that, and I'm like, because a sea turtle isn't really like a flipper. That's why I went with the whole dolphin thing. But I like sea turtles better
that's
than I
beautiful.
like dolphins. Sorry, dolphins, but I like sea turtles better than dolphins.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Teresa says, if shipping is over, so if your buyer paid too much, how much does it have to be over for you before you're going to reimburse the buyer, or do you just keep it all? And if it is over, how much do you give back to the buyer?
Well, I'm going to say more so when I probably more, I don't even want to say it into eBay too far. For a little while there, I said, okay, if it was maybe if it was over $5 or depending on the person, maybe I would refund them. But honestly, I did that for a couple months, and then I said, no, people are paying what they want to pay for an item. They're paying the shipping for the item. I'm not going to refund them because I get a seller discount. You get the seller discount for eBay. And if that's the price they're going to pay for it, they know that's the price they're going to pay for it, then I don't refund them anything. And if there's anything extra out of that, that's just goes in our pockets.
Yeah, I'm pretty much very rarely refund for shipping, but it has to be like more than $10 because I get the discount they pay retail. So if it's $10 more than what they really should have paid retail, then I'll refund down to that point, but not down to what I paid.
Right.
But it's if it's just a couple bucks, no, I'm not gonna.
For me, I don't refund anything. It could be $5, it could be $50 over thing. If that's what they agree to pay, they agree to pay that the transaction has been completed. Just because I get a discount because I'm selling in bulk or I'm doing a lot of transactions, like I'm using those discounts to pay for supplies, my time for packaging, for gas, everything else. A lot of people, and not to mention we pay taxes on the shipping because we're collecting that shipping too. So I would never give it back. The only exception to that is if a buyer messages me or they buy multiple items. Right. If they buy multiple items from me, then I'll send, hey, thank you for making multiple purchases. Here's a combined shipping discount. I'll do that because I think that's good customer service because they're buying multiple items. Absolutely. Or the buyer emails me and asks me about, a shipping or any type of adjustment. Then I could potentially, but other than that, I mean, it's what they agree upon. I mean, they know that when they make the purchase.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like Rod. I have a few exceptions. One is going to be combined shipping. And if they ask for that and they've already paid, I will give them a discount. But I want to reiterate, you get charged fees. So I never give them the complete difference. I'm going to keep like 20 to 30% of whatever the difference is to cover the fees. The other is, even if they don't ask and buy multiple, if it's over, that's when I will. But if it's on a single item, typically I am not going to refund. I agree with everybody else. They saw what they were paying for shipping. They agreed to pay for it. Now, on stuff that's really high on shipping and they write me about it, I will tell them if I can find it cheaper, I will refund you some. So, but that's on stuff that's like $50+ for shipping. And a lot of times it doesn't end up cheaper. So I tell them not to expect it, but if I can, I will. And so those I will. But like Rod said, we've got time into it. We're spending a ton of money on boxes and bubble wrap, and plus, all of the time that you spend packing it. So if they see the price, typically I'm not going to refund it.
Oh.
All right. Becky wants to know if there are any good tutorials on using StreamYard with YouTube. I want to do sales on my channel. How do you practice to see if everything comes together to work? And if you guys don't know, we are on StreamYard right now. That is what we use to broadcast all of our podcasts.
Well, we don't do lives on StreamYards other than I've looked at it and probably should, but we have never done any lives on StreamYard. So I'm not going to get too answer that question. Although I did look at a lot of different YouTube videos, and it seems really fairly simple, to follow along. But anybody, I'm going to leave this to y'all to answer.
I couldn't answer because I haven't done it. So.
Yeah, so I mean, there are a bunch of YouTube videos out there for StreamYard, but I would just say, you can always, if you have StreamYard, you can set up a private chat. You can set up that you just send it to your friends as a go to practice. You can do the same thing on Whatnot, set up private, and they also Whatnot actually has training mode now. I don't know if you saw that, Kat, but you can actually do go in training mode to try to do a Whatnot. If you're just learning. So, but same thing to Whatnot, StreamYard, doesn't matter what the platform is, just set the private and, send it up to your friends, test it out. That's what I normally do with anything I have to do.
Yeah. And you don't have to download anything, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. I have just figured it out along the way. The biggest thing's going to be having signal. If you have good enough signal to broadcast, that would be the only thing I would worry about. So as far as lights, video, and sound, you can record. So all of my research videos you guys see, actually pretty much all of my videos now, I actually record in StreamYard. And that way I can screen share to show you guys the items. And that would be a good way. You could do a recording of yourself and then watch the playback by yourself without having to share it with anybody, and check your lighting and make sure everything works. And I hear my voice going, and I am sick. So yeah, hopefully it lasts. I can hear it cracking already, and we're pretty early. And if I hide, I'm coughing tonight. Just FYI. It's really weird. It's only been at night and early in the morning. During the day, I'm totally fine. But at night, it's I can't sleep from
They call
coughing.
it the 100-day cough. If you were sick and then the cough is lingering.
No, I was sick and it went away, and now I'm sick again. But all it is the cough.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I don't know. Lala said she's made 35 videos. She's new to it. So she has 35 videos and 32 subscribers. Where do we share our videos? I'm assuming she means to get more views on them.
Right. Facebook, Instagram. That's, that's what we share ours to.
We did have a TikTok, but it hasn't really done anything.
I haven't done much on TikTok. So, but I do have TikTok.
I can't make it on TikTok either. I tried.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, you just, when it comes to sharing videos, I think you just have to be very adamant about getting it out there and also promoting it. Not just sharing it, but also promoting, and this is what you're doing, and this is what you have.
And going on other people's
A
constantly.
lot of collaboration would help out too.
Collaboration, yeah. Friending people, showing support of other sellers, and that helps a lot.
Without being pushy.
Without being pushy,
Exactly,
yes.
exactly.
Yes.
With permission.
Or even expecting, you just do it until, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, basically everything they said.
So I literally just looked at your YouTube for 10 seconds, and I can tell you a couple of different things. One is it's not so much about where you're sharing it. It's going to be your thumbnails and your titles. You definitely want to improve those, because it's like think of it this way. If you walk into a bookstore and there's 1,000 books there, what's the first thing that catch your eye? It's going to be the thumbnail. That's like the book cover. And then once you pick the book cover, you want to have an intriguing title. So if you have an intriguing title, it matches the book cover. That's going to get someone to say, oh, let me take a look and read this book. And then when you watch that video, you should have a hook within the first like 10 to 15 seconds that gets people like, wow, I need to keep watching this video. You know, that's pretty much the format you want to run. Also, too, I noticed that you have you're filming your video long form videos vertically. You might want to turn your camera horizontal, and then that'll be better for the viewer. So those tips alone will help you get a ton of new views without even sharing anywhere else. But what I would recommend is, like Kat will tell you too, there's a lot of places on YouTube you can watch videos on how to grow your channel. And when we first started, and Kat would say the same thing, we watched a ton of videos. I do that as just you do research for your reselling. I watch at least 10 to 15 minute video a day, and then just try to improve your videos 1% every single time, and you'll be on your way.
Yeah, so D Nimmin and Nick Nimmin are my two favorite. I have to say I like D a little bit more than Nick. His personality just meshes. And both of them actually have paid channel memberships just like I do. And they will review your channel and they will help you. And they both have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and their membership is cheap and it is worth it. I was a member of both their channels for a long time. Really, really helped me. I think D even came in and sent me like a $50 super chat when I hit 50,000, like super supportive. I do want to say there are a few groups on Facebook that allow it. I know Buffalo Picker, Tommy's group, he allows you to share YouTubes. I used to share every single one of mine there. If you message me on Facebook, on the Nurse Flipper or on my name, I'll send you them, because there are 3 that resellers created for resellers to share videos. And that's what it's for. So you're allowed to do it. Do not do it in just a random Facebook group. Ask me how I know. I mentioned my channel and got kicked out of a couple of the biggest thrifting groups on Facebook. So some of them are very, very finicky about it. You could even just mention it and they will kick you out. You have to be very careful. Instagram, I say, is a must-have. I started Instagram when I started my YouTube. Make sure you hashtag it. If you look at other resellers that are sharing their videos on there, look at their hashtags like reseller community, reseller tips. If you're doing vintage and antique, you want to hashtag it so that it'll pop up in people's feeds that follow those hashtags. And then just being in the chat like this where people see your name. Rod is right. I had somebody luckily tell me the same thing. My first video is upright as well. You do want to make sure you're in horizontal on all of them to fill the screen. And he hit the nail on the head. Thumbnail and title. If people aren't intrigued by it, it doesn't look interesting, they're not going to click it. And if they don't click it, they can't like you and get to know you. And you want to have that hook in the middle of, I made $100 on this item and I'm going to show you it. And you're not going to show it to them until later. That's the hook. So they keep watching, but definitely good tips.
All right. Definitely.
Teacher Treasure Chest said, when do you think it's time to go from basic to the premium eBay store subscription?
I'm probably the worst person to ask that question to, because as soon as I probably sold 5 items, I went to the premium store when I could. And to be honest with you, the basics fine for a lot of people. I know the numbers have changed over time, so I can't tell you what the numbers are. Like if you sell X amount of items a month or make X amount of dollars. But I'm going to just say that a premium, even if you pay for the yearly, it's better because you get a little less price. But if you're at monthly, it's what, $59 or something like that, whatever it is.
Yeah.
To me, it pays for itself. I always, in my videos, I've always put out that as soon as you think you can afford, you sell a few items and therefore go premium. You get that $50 of shipping supplies you can get every quarter, so you can get free shipping supplies. You get other benefits by having it. I just look at it like it pays for itself. Everything about it, you get 100% more about it. But you'd have to look up to see the different price ranges and the different things. If you're just starting off, I'd just be basic for a couple months, get your feet wet, and go premium as soon as you can. It's well worth it. It pays for itself. So,
yeah, I kind of like them. I started on the premium store right off the bat because I knew I was going to grow, so I just went and got it to get the perks. But basically, if you're starting to pay too many listing fees, it's time to move up.
definitely.
That's basically the short of it.
So when it comes to the basic store, you get 1,000 items and it's $22 a month. Okay. And then you get a $25 coupon every quarter that you can use for supplies. Anything after 1,000 listings, you have to pay 25 cents per listing. So it's pretty much a math equation here. The next store up is $59.99. And so if you're listing, that counts relist. If you have an item already in your store and it gets relisted, that counts as one listed item for that month. So if you're having at least 2,000 items or 2,000 things being relisted, then you should bump up your store to the premium. Now that's changed over years. So a lot of people have the basic store because eBay's bumped up their numbers. So people may have a premium store before because I think before it was only maybe 1,000 or
it was only 1,000, and I was getting ready to have to upgrade when they increased it to 10,000.
So it just depends on when people have upgraded. But right now you get 1,000 listings, and then any listing over that. You go over that 1,000, it's going to cost you 25 cents. So the next store up is $59.99. So just do the math. If you're listing over 2,000 items a month in your store, then you should bump up to the premium. But if you're under that, then you can stay at the basic store now.
Rod said everything. Yeah. All right. I don't know if anybody on the panel can decode this. I asked Debbie to clarify in the chat, but I didn't see her ever clarify. It says, what would I do differently in managing two stores, one carrying vintage designer handbags and one carrying jewelry? So I don't know really what she means.
So she's asking us, what can she do differently? She has two separate stores going and she's niching down in both stores, it sounds like. So she's trying to say, what can she do differently, I guess, with other sorted interesting items? Yeah, what would you do differently between the two stores, I guess, if you niche down?
Yeah, well, I don't sell a lot of all that stuff except for the jewelry part of it. So, I mean, we sell jewelry. But if we're having the two different stores, I mean, you're talking about different items in different stores, and one store usually is going to do better than the other because of the items. Jewelry, definitely, I can tell you, because I've been doing jewelry for a long time, gold and silver jewelry particularly. It's a fierce competition. But name brand designer things, that's its own niche type market. And so I'm not exactly 100% about the question, but yeah, it's going to be two different stores. And if you're trying to compare apples to oranges, it's not going to. So.
Yeah, I would also think about what do you enjoy more and what do you think would be more prosperous for you? Because managing two stores it can be a pain. I've done it and I got rid of the second one.
Yeah, most people do.
Yeah. So you kind of have to look at what you want to do in your business and kind of which direction you want to go to see if you really want to keep both of them or just combine both of them.
And variety. Most people like when you go into a store, see a variety of things. So even combining the two would be a good thing, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, the way I look at this is, I mean, if you're carrying vintage designer handbags and shoes, I think jewelry could go hand in hand with that.
Yeah.
But If the jewelry is maybe more modern, or maybe you're niching down on the jewelry, I can understand having a source specifically for, yes, I just want to correct that, one of the different approach. So I use the camera. I always like to use this analogy with the cameras. Like if I had two different stores where I had an everything store and then I had a camera store and I saw nothing but 300 different types of cameras in there, you guys would think that I would be completely an expert on cameras based on that store because that's all I specialize in. So if you want to be considered like an expert, have higher pricing in there, you can do that when you're niching down to one specific store. A lot of people do that compared to if I went to just a regular everything store that had a couple cameras for sale. There's a big difference in there from just the perspective of it, looking from the outside in. If you're doing sourcing on eBay, I know a person that would buy a ton of stuff and he was a high end of his category. All his items were mint, great photos, and he would list stuff super high pricing but he would use his other account to make purchases for that account. So even though he had a store in there, he would still sell. He was using that account to make purchases because he didn't want people to see him purchasing and then what he's listing these items for. So I can see a benefit there for you. But I will say, just a lot of people in the chat did say it is a lot of work. So make sure that you have a clear-cut plan on why you're doing it and what the method behind the madness is. But it is a lot of work. And, Kat has done it. I have had two stores before. And you do forget things or forget to log in. And so you just got to make sure you remind yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with a lot of people in the chat and say I would merge them. And because of what Rod just said, I had two. I forgot to log in. Stuff didn't get shipped out on time. It was just too much work. She says one is mommy's secret money. Well, then, secret from who? Because you have to report it to the government. To see, I don't know.
Maybe her and her husband have a store together. I don't know, and then she's hiding it.
About the only way to run two stores efficiently is to have a team where one's working on one. Even if it's husband and wife, one working on one working on another. It's pretty difficult.
Because they both take so much time, and all of the consistency and everything we talk about every week on here, you have to do that for both of them. So you need to be listing on both of them daily. You should be shipping out daily. It's for me, it was way more work than it was worth, is what I will say.
Caroline in the chat said you can only be on it logged into one at a time.
Right.
So you're only going to get alerts.
So you would need a second phone. Some people had second phones. It would just, I'm putting this up here and I'm also dropping the link at the same time. So eBay has released 1099s. Mark II, Not Your Dad's CPA, 2 days left, guys. I think he still has it $80 off. 2 days left to get it, and he's closing it for the whole year. So if you've thought about it at all, you have today and tomorrow to get it, and then it's closed. Excellent course if you want to learn anything about reselling taxes. That is the place to be. Look at this nice man in the chat. I don't know who he is, but he gifted 10 Nurse Flipper memberships. I'm just kidding, guys. Scott Cha-Ching King is a very good friend of mine. Scott was the speaker with me at my Tennessee Nurse Flipper camp a couple of years ago. He drove over from Texas and hung out with us at Pigeon Forge at the cabin. So it is tax time. And then here, I got to tell you guys, this post got more attention than any other post I have ever put on Instagram. So if you missed it, I was swimming in the springs. That is not what made me sick. It probably would make me better. And right after I got out, about a minute and a half later, it was a baby gator. It was like 4 feet swimming in the springs. So I recorded that. And a lot of you who are not Floridians were worried I was going to get eaten by the gator. So being a Floridian, you look at this completely different. Roy wrote me, he lived in Georgia. He has the same thoughts on it as I do. They are everywhere. Like they could be in a mud puddle in my driveway. Like they are everywhere. I didn't get in there when I saw the gator. I would not get in there if I saw a gator. But I am not scared of gators. And if you go by that theory, I hope none of you ever get in the ocean, because when you step foot in there, you're with the sharks.
And everything else.
Everything else. So I am posting. I started a new Instagram, only Instagram. It's not anywhere else, with my health journey stuff, because I figured some of you might not want to see it, and I separated it out. But that is where it came from for me doing that. Miss Phyllis sent us a $10 super sticker. Thank you so much. Gino, now we need a gator eating me for a super.
He's gonna have so much fun making that one.
That would be all right, Miss Phyllis. Here's the whale. I like the whale too. I like Gino's new ones a lot. Here you go.
That's right.
That's really nice. I like that.
There you go, Kat. There's a challenge
I'll
for
be
you.
like, see gators live.
Probably get a nice turnout for that.
Yeah. I don't know how good my signal is. I'll have to check next time I'm out there. We'll bring some stuff. Maybe. Oh no, I think I'd get arrested if I sold stuff from the spring. So I don't think I could do that. I'd have to bring my own things. But that's a good idea. All right. Patty wants to know your morning routine: coffee, tea, or a healthy drink.
Oh, me?
Yeah, go.
Okay. I do intermittent fasting. So I drink coffee when I wake up, and then at 10 o'clock I have a smoothie, a green smoothie, and then I make a soup. It's like a vegetable soup with protein in it and stuff, and that's what I'm doing now.
Pot of coffee for me all the way.
Yeah, he's like, he don't eat but once a day, so he drinks. Kind of went overboard with that one, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you do, though.
That's it, kind of all meshes together.
I'm not gonna show the brand, but meal replacement shakes,
Yeah.
Oh,
shakes.
yeah.
chocolate.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
I put one of those in the smoothie. Kind of like that.
I am a coffee guy all day long. And if I had to pick my favorite coffee locations, Dunkin' Donuts and Wawa, and Starbucks is third. Overpriced.
Dunkin' has good coffee.
I like Dunkin' coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate coffee.
What?
I'm not a
Oh.
coffee
Me too.
drinker. Can't stand it. My husband drinks coffee all day long. So I have a protein shake in the morning. My appetite hasn't been great, so I'm trying to get enough protein. So I start with a protein shake. And then since we're working out 5 days a week, then I have pre-workout, which has caffeine and has saved me from the sodas I was drinking. I have not had a soda in weeks. Listen, I have the caffeine in my pre-workout drink because I go to the gym and I work out. So there's caffeine, and then I don't need any the rest of the day, and I'm good to go. So that's mine. And the funny thing is, Kim, you'll have to tell me what green smoothie, because I just ordered a sample of one to try, because I don't get enough veggies. So
Well,
I just ordered.
With the protein shake, I do the powder because the little thing, I won't give the name of it either, but the individual ones cost so much. So I just buy
They're
the big
expensive,
tub
yeah.
of powder. So I put that, and I put some soy milk or almond milk, about 4 ounces. I throw in, those power greens. You can buy the big tubs of them.
I don't, because I don't like anything green. That's the problem. That's why I have to figure a way to get them.
You wouldn't even taste it. Seriously. You put a banana in there and you freeze about this.
I'm horrible, Rod.
Wait, you said you don't like anything green?
I like green beans and I like peas.
Well, if
That's
you get
it, like, broccoli, nothing else.
I like broccoli.
If you put a colored cup, you won't see it. But so you just kind of put a handful of greens in there and mush it, do it in your blender. But I freeze them because they go
But
bad.
I would be the one putting them in, so I would know they're in there.
You have the same appetite as my
I can't
15-year-old
help you there,
son.
Kat. I'm sorry. But yeah.
I know. I never grew out of it. I never grew. Yes, Patty, that's what I ordered a sample of, is AG1. I have a sample of it. It just came today.
Does it taste
So I'm going to
good,
try it.
though? I've seen it. Does it taste good?
I don't know. I'll tell you in the morning.
Now that's green, Kat.
I know. I'm gonna try.
It's really green.
Hold your nose and chug.
That's what Brad does with his pre-workout. Like, I'm like, oh, I couldn't do that. Oh.
But I used to make them for the grandkids and they couldn't take the green. So I put them in a colored cup and they wouldn't know. And you can't taste it.
But I can't fool myself. So I'll have to tell my husband to speak green.
No, I don't know. Yeah, that would be hard to do.
He would do it. He would do it. All right. Scott wants to know, and he wants to ask the chat. He picked up an antique Spanish rapier sword. It has lots of surface rust. Would you clean it?
I don't know much about a Spanish rapier sword. For me, I know I have done with tools or different things that you don't want, not like anything, you don't want to decrease the value of something unless you can have it professionally done. But I know I would probably oil it down a little bit just to take the hand wipe the rust. But again, I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't know about the sword, so I have to look up to see the values of things.
Yeah. If it's expensive, you might want to have it restored. Otherwise, you might want to rub some of it off, maybe. But if it's cheap,
I wouldn't want to ruin the value of it or have it disintegrate, deteriorate something. But unless it's, if it doesn't have a high value, sure, then why not? But if it has a higher value, or it's really, really priced something rare, then you get it something to get it professionally restored or something. But other than that, if you're looking at just reselling it, getting a good price or something, it can take a little oil and hand wipe it down to get the rust off, I think.
Yeah, that's
so. For me, absolutely not. And the reason I say this is anything when it comes to weapons, especially guns, knives, swords, sell them as is. And if someone wants to restore them, keep them as is, because it can devalue them. But I wouldn't.
I'm going to say I wouldn't either. And I see quite a few people. So Sarsar said she tries sell as is. Berkshire says the antique buyers like to restore on their own. Leave the cleaning to the buyer. I would not touch it. I might lightly wipe it down. Probably not more than a couple of $1,000. That's enough to not ruin it. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
That's what I say. I say leave it alone. All right, let's give Scott Rod, because we can. Here you go.
Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time.
All right, so we knew we would get some tax questions. We are going to preface all of them with none of us are accountants. And if you do not know, there are two ways to do your accounting. One is money in, money out. The other is cash accrual. With cash accrual, you have to keep inventory of every single item you have, what you paid for it, when you bought it, and when it sells. Money in, money out is exactly that. You calculate what you spent, you calculate what you made. So Annie is asking, basically, what method do we use? That would be the way to sum up this question.
Money
for
in,
our
money
accounting.
money in, money out.
Yeah, that's it. That's the easiest way.
Yeah.
Money in, money out, easiest way. But talk to your accountant first what they recommend best for your business.
Rod only does money in.
One thing I don't know if this has to do because I do the taxes is the inventory. That gets a little tricky because they ask you what your inventory was at the end of the year for the next year. So, if you've got a bunch of hosh-posh of stuff and you kind of know the value. So I keep a book, and what I started doing was writing what I put on my last taxes, for the end of the inventory. Then I just carry it to the next. I know that might be off subject a little bit, but that was just one thing that was difficult for me. You can add everything up, but the inventory part was a little tricky if you've got tons of inventory, unless you have it all itemized. How do y'all do that? I'm curious.
My accountant does mine, and he's been doing mine since I started reselling. So I would assume he has some numbers somewhere.
Yeah. How about you
I don't-
guys? Do you keep in like every little itemized item, or you trying to guess? I mean, I kind of guess.
Money in, money out.
Money in, money out. You
out.
don't
Money in,
need
money
that
out.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't. I don't think you have to.
You don't have to really, yeah.
Not,
So whatever.
not with the money in, money out. You don't have to know it. I think that's only for cash accrual.
So it's just like what you value your stock as a whole, right? You kind of
It's whatever. So the problem where money in, money out gets in. So like I accounted for all my inventory I bought for the year. So what would suck for this year is if I spent a ton of money last year and then I say I'm not buying in January, February, March, and I have no money going out, and then all of this money coming in, it would end up like I would owe more taxes. That's where money in, money out can get you in trouble. But if you're constantly, I am always buying. So there's always money going both directions. But yeah, you shouldn't have to have, I don't think, and again, we're not accountants, but you should not have to have that. I don't think. I don't know because I don't do my own.
Yeah,
we can talk more backstage about it too with you.
Yeah.
Judy said she listed a nativity set from Cuba and eBay took it down for a policy violation. Each piece is clearly marked Cuba on the bottom. I feel like there's something else that got that taken down. There's got to be another word. It's not that they're made, like they don't care about Cuba and made in Cuba. Native American, if you're claiming and can't prove they do, but not Cuban. I feel like you might have used a word, or like if you put carved, or there's something else in that listing that got eBay to take it down. I don't know if anybody else has any other thoughts on it.
That's what I can think of. And where I don't know. No, that's what I'm thinking too. Is there was something with the words in the title?
Maybe the material she put. What Judy? What material did you say it was made of? You can put it in the chat.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If maybe there has to be a trigger word there. What do you mean you can't sell anything from Cuba?
There was a Cuban embargo at one point in time.
Yeah. That's. I mean,
so is it still?
Is it?
Yeah,
still
I don't know.
It could be. Yep. You can't sell anything from
Well,
Cuba.
maybe we didn't know.
Yeah, there was an
LaDonna
embargo.
says, okay.
Yeah, there was an
It's
embargo.
embargoed goods. You can't sell them.
A while back, so I didn't know that was still embargoed. So
See, I thought that had changed.
Yeah.
But, it's possible.
yeah, that makes sense.
Well, then.
So if you
Okay.
Say there. Don't
Well,
say.
I just looked it up. I just looked it up real quick, and it says a non-U.S. person arriving into America can bring something has a Cuban origin, but you cannot use it for commercial quantities, and you cannot resell any item that's a Cuban origin.
Oh.
So nothing's allowed. And if that's the case, that's a law, and that means that it goes across all platforms.
There we go. Violation was removed. Yeah. So the best way to probably, if you wanted to sell on that, work around it, would be just don't put Cuba or Cuban in your description or your title, and just relist as a nativity
Just
scene.
a nativity set. Yeah,
I
never found anything from Cuba, obviously.
I found a lot of
They
cigars.
use the word Cuban, maybe thinking it was a cigar. They thought it was
But it looks like you can't do anything from Cuba.
Yeah, it's saying nothing. You can't do resale of anything from Cuba.
Here's Kevin's idea: mark out Cuba and write in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico.
Kevin always adding so much value to the show every week. Thank you, Kevin, for what you do. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So much value.
So we learned something. You can't sell anything from Cuba.
Yeah.
Okay. Margaret said she made her first shipping mistake. The recipient was kind and said he would send it to the buyer. So I'm going to assume crisscrossed items. He went to the post office and had to send it back. Question is, what should I tell the buyer who now has to wait?
Okay.
She has to get it back and has to reship it to that original buyer now.
Well, that's a good learning lesson. We've all made those mistakes where you send out an item to the wrong person. Probably we've all made mistakes. I know we've done it 2 or 3 times maybe. But the first thing is when you talk to the buyer or you've made a mistake is to get the item back or offer them a refund and just let it go from there. Same thing with the other person that was supposed to receive the other item or whatever got transferred. You just notify them and said, hey, this was my mistake. I'm sorry. Let me just refund you and try to end it right there as quick as you can. If they're willing to ship it back to you, that's fine. Have them ship back to you. Contact the person that's supposed to go to and explain to them honestly what happened and ask them if they're willing to wait. And if they're not willing to wait for it to be reshipped out again to that person, then again, just give them a refund. It's better to get the refund than go through a case and a lot of hassle with eBay or trying to. I can say we've learned from doing that. I can give you one example real quick of something. Is I had a camera, 2 cameras, and one was a real expensive camera and one was not a expensive camera. And I packaged them and put the wrong labels on the wrong box. Even though I've got this system where I'm not going to do that, I still did it anyway because the names were very similar and the zip codes were very similar and I was in a hurry. So the correct person got the wrong camera first, but the person that received the expensive camera, they started off saying, I didn't get the item I received and started a case. And not that they didn't receive an item, but they just said, open a case. I didn't get the item that I ordered. And so I immediately contacted the first one and said, hey, I'm going to try to contact this person and see if they'll send it back. If they won't, I'm sorry. And I'll give you a refund. I'll give you an answer today. I'll give you an answer. They said that was fine. And I tried to contact the first person that got the expensive camera that was claiming the case, and they never responded to any of my emails. So I got hold of the first person, the other person again, the one that received that was expecting the expensive camera, and I refunded them their money. So that ended that right there. Then the one that had received the expensive camera was supposed to get the cheaper camera, the less expensive camera. I'm going to say every day for about 5 days, I tried contacting this person, waiting for an answer.
They realized what they had and said, never mind. I got the right item.
So eventually, but they kept, so that the case was there. So I contacted eBay, explained to them what happened. And, like any other time when you contact eBay, you got to be the one in control, not the person that's at the other end, just reading from a script or trying to follow along with things. And I told them everything that happened. Plus, I always screenshot everything I do. I make copies and I attached those and told them this is what I did. And I made contact. This person's has opened the case, but they received the item. And I showed the tracking number of the item going to them and also the tracking number going to the other person. And eBay ended up canceling that case and refunding me that money. The funny part is that the guy that got the expensive camera, I guess, was expecting to get more money back or something. So he ended up sending it back.
Oh, and the kicker was they were consignment items. We were selling for somebody. So we were, we were like, no, not these 2 items.
So my overall answer to that is quick, be honest up front, quick, and just let the people know what's going on. And if they're not happy or dissatisfied or they don't want to wait, then just refund them the money and get it back, get it over with. And sometimes you just got to take a loss. You got to take a loss.
I think that sums it up.
It was a long explanation.
Yeah, I've done that multiple times. I know you guys all think I'm perfect, but it happens every once in a while. But normally if it's cheap items, I will issue them a refund and then still send them the item just to try to keep face and hopefully get that positive feedback, let them know. But I would tell you the biggest takeaway from all this is communication. As long as you're cool, like if you mess something up, email the buyer before they get the item. If you realize it, because you can literally put out a lot of fires before the fires even start. And by doing that and having good communication, let them know that you're on top of it. That's only, that's the best way to do it, just to protect your feedback.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I would just tell them what I did. If there are those buyers that are not going to be happy no matter what, and if it's one of those, I would refund them immediately, because it's your responsibility. And like, I'll tell you, I'm understanding, but if it was something I needed or wanted, I would tell you to refund me and I'll buy it from someone else, because I don't want to wait for you to get it back and then you have to ship it to me. So 9 times out of 10, I'm going to tell you I want a refund. And I think the majority of people probably don't want to wait that long if it was a gift or something like that. But yeah, just be honest with them. And then if they want a refund and they're not willing to wait, give them a refund, and then you can just relist the item once you get it back.
Yeah, there was a time, it's kind of a quick little story. I guess we had screwed up somewhere. I don't know what. And so the guy wrote back, and he told us off. Turned us upside down, every name in the book. And so Roy was going to handle it back, and he was already upset. And I said, just give it to me, because it's not going to end well if you go back at them. So I was the political one and calmed the situation down and told him, I'm sorry, we'll give him a refund, blah, blah, blah. And I got this short little note back. He said, oh, sorry, I was drunk. So when he wrote that whole thing, and whatever, I forget what happened. It was some guy in New York, something.
Kevin says, when in that little chat thing, Kim says, when she says Roy, you mean screwed up? Yeah, that's me.
It happens.
When you have a screw up and then like everything that could possibly go wrong goes wrong.
Yeah.
Like I had a buyer that I sent the wrong item to, and then it got delayed, so we couldn't do anything because the package got stuck, and then the package gets just a nightmare. Just stuff like that always happens.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Lori says, how do I combine 2 listings to get a shipping cost? The buyer has not purchased or paid. It may end up oversized. So I would like to figure that out before proceeding.
All right. Well, I'm assuming you can know how to combine the 2 shipping. You can do that on the page where you're going to print your labels from, or whatever. You can combine shipping. eBay's been, I think, doing that now automatically, but I don't know if you have to set it up differently. Mine
you have to just click the button at the top.
Yeah. But as for finding out if it's oversized, especially if you got 2 items and they're going to be put together, if the buyer paid separately and shipping for both items separately, and it's going to be oversized, I would think that would cover the shipping cost. But however, there's that, I'm trying to think that you can click on, what is it, Rod? You may be able to say it a little faster and know what I'm talking about. There's a little place where you can type in a zip code on
the postal website.
On the shipping area on eBay. There's a
way on there when you go to send the invoice. There's a way.
I thought they got rid of that. I know what you're talking about, Roy. You could put in the zip code, but I thought they got rid of that on eBay.
Yeah, this is a good point too. If they're an international buyer, you can't combine it unless you're in their program. So keep that.
That's true.
You could go. I go on pirate ship sometimes, because you should see their address on the purchase, and I'll put in the approximate weight to see what it'll cost on pirate ship.
Right. I was going to say that I could do that. You can do that on pirate ship, or if you have any other thing, Ship Hippo or whatever. But I'm just saying any other type of scale, weight, dimension that you can log into, you should be able to put that in. It'll probably show the retail weight, not the
discounted shipping rate.
Discounted rate, but but you'll be able to tell the buyer that way. Should be able to.
Yeah, you can go to the USPS.com and figure a rate too.
Right.
Just pack, kind of sort of package it up and figure your dimensions and weight, and then you can tell the buyer what they're going to cost
until they don't pay.
Right.
Yeah. So my biggest concern would be is if I would try to literally almost package the 2 items up together to see if the box will be oversized, because before you try to combine,
it might be cheaper.
Yeah, because it might be send it separately, just for the fact that if it's oversized, you're going to pay an extra fee, or you might have to ship completely change shipping companies. Because the United States Postal Service, you have an oversized package, you're going to pay a lot more than you would through like UPS or FedEx. So keep that in mind as well.
Now, one thing I will say is a couple months ago, I sold a wheelchair lift.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, UPS has a max weight of 150 pounds, and anything over that, it becomes freight shipping. And of course, the cost goes up because you got to pay for the freight shipping. And I loaded the thing up in one piece in a big box. I showed it in the video how I did it, and it came out to, I don't remember, like 145 pounds.
It's close.
And let me tell you, Kim and I have struggled carrying that box.
Oh, that's heavy.
But we got it in the UPS. They got a couple people there to pick it up and everything. And the original cost that I had charged the person for the shipping, I think came out to, I don't know, it was actually surprisingly, I think they ended up paying like $125 for shipping on the original thing that I had listed. It actually only came out to like $79.
Nice.
So it was good. That was good for me. However, if I was to go back in time and do that again, I would have, because I had disassembled part of it and then I put it all, I've disassembled it so it'd be able to fit into this big box that I made. If I could go back in time, I actually probably would have shipped it out in several different box sizes, or, you know, a couple of different, broke it down.
That would have been better for your back.
Sure. Are you
Yeah.
kidding? And you know, if you think about it, if you've ever ordered several items off from somewhere, they always come in two, three different shipments if they're fairly large size.
Now, my question to you would be, would it have been worth your time to disassemble it, put in separate packages? I mean, were you making enough profit on that item?
It's a crane lift. So I took it apart to get it into that box.
Gotcha.
It was still almost over 36 inch by 2 feet by 2 feet box. I mean, it's still, I still disassembled the whole thing to put it down there, and it was worth my time because it was a free item for me, and I sold it for $1,500. So
Yeah, it was donated. It was donated to us, and we were like, oh,
So
Nice.
it was worth the time.
yeah.
Yeah, we've got 2 super chats, and then I'm going to do some giveaways. I skipped them last time. Annie sent one, and Mark sent one as well. Mark is here at 9:01, never fails, 9 o'clock-ish. So I will give you a dolphin. Here you go.
Super chat.
And we'll keep answering questions while you guys are entering. For the first one, I am going to give away a free month. 1 month of List Perfectly is what you will get if you win. Any level, if you already have List Perfectly, you will receive a refund because they are awesome like that. I just put in the chat my code. It's the Nurse Flipper. It's that everywhere. You will get 30% off if you want to try it. Rosie, he left. Scott left. He had to leave, but he did gift us the memberships. Okay. Brad and Kim want to know what is our go-to for a label printer and is what we use wireless.
Well, we use the Rollo printer, and we've had it for several years now. It's a wired one. I actually would like to get a wireless one, but I haven't done it. And if I do get a wireless one, it's actually not going to be for printing labels, as I'm going to make it for printing little small stickers. Maybe just to put on packages or something like that. A wireless one is obviously better that you can move around. But Rollo, I mean, I know there's that great debate about different ones, but I have to say that we've had the Rollo printer for 4 or 5 years now, and it's been excellent, perfect, no problems. We've moved around with it. It's been great.
Yeah, I've got the Rollo as well. I've had it for about 4 years. It's the wired one, but I love it. No issues whatsoever.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the Rollo is overpriced. Just the fact that that's what everyone used back in the day. Now you can get a lot. I use Off Nova, and I mean it's a wired one, but I mean it was like $80 on Amazon.
Oh, wow.
It was like a third of the cost of a Rollo.
Wow.
and I have no
I'm
issue
putting
with
the
it.
link in the chat now for the Off Nova, and it's actually for a wireless Off Nova.
Oh, okay.
That's
Well,
it's
if-
not expensive.
If you have a Mac, you have to plug it in. I think it's
Oh,
wireless
okay.
for PC.
But it's perfect for stickers, Roy. That's what I use mine for.
Yeah.
I have a Dymo in here that I've had for years, but then I bought the Off Nova as a backup, and I use the Off Nova as a sticker printer, just like Roy and Kim were saying.
I
That
will
is-
say, yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, even though I said that it's only a third of the price, I mean, Rolo is very dependable. I will say that. So I mean, people have the Rolos for years to come, which is always good.
I mean, Dymo is too. Well, I've had
Yeah.
my Dymo 3 years.
The
I mean,
Buckle
they're
X.
good, but I think the generic ones work just as good, guys. Like,
Agreed.
I don't think you need to spend that much money. I wouldn't have said that before I got mine for sticker printing, but I was like, wow, why did, you know, and I don't ever pay full price. I got my Dymo off of Facebook Marketplace,
Oh.
and I've had it. So,
I
yeah.
know, no matter which one you get, pretty much I mean, nowadays they're all made really well. Just the price right way it's different. You know, like I said, I can't. You know, I can just say that we probably ran 50,000 labels through ours. So, you know, that's what we use, and that's what I like. And so I said that's the great debate. You know,
Yeah, it is.
Julian is thanking me. So if you watched us back then, I got tired of seeing Julian tape on like 20 labels a day, and I bought him a Dymo. I was like, dude, no more. And I bought him that was years ago now, but I got tired of all of his stack pictures, and they were all taped on, and I'm like, you're killing me. Like,
You know what?
killing me.
That first moment where you go from cutting and taping on your labels to actually printing them off a label printer is the most
Oh.
amazing feeling.
Oh, you're
ever.
not kidding.
Definitely
It's the
kick
most
yourself for not
amazing
doing it
feeling
sooner.
ever.
I remember the cutting and the taping.
Yeah.
We
And then
did
when you
that
finally do
too.
that,
I
like,
remember as well.
Could you imagine trying to do Whatnot now, Kat? And having to
Oh my
cut
gosh.
and tape labels?
My daughter would quit.
I would quit. I wouldn't do Whatnot. Just taking too long to cut and tape everything.
All right, let's pick a winner of this, and then I have something else fun to give away. Not the normal stuff either. Ha 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 ha. Dun da da da. Karen, you won. Karen, I'm going to put this in here. Email Tiffany at listperfectly.com and tell her that you won the giveaway last night or tonight on my channel, and she will hook it up for you. And next, my friends, let me go back and put the new one. We are going to give away a free month of my Reseller Genie, perfect at tax time. So hashtag my Reseller Genie, and you will get a free month of my Reseller Genie. I also have the same code to save 15% on there. I will put that in the chat. I'm really trying to multitask tonight. I don't have Marsha to help me. She's here. So there is the My Reseller Genie if you want to try it. The most expensive package is $20, so it's very, very affordable. All right. Karen says she has packages stuck in transit. Is there anything besides tracking to get it moving? I can't seem to get a hold of anyone at USPS. It's frustrating. eBay will cover, but the buyers want the orders.
Yeah, there's probably going to end up being, depending on weather or situation like that could be going on in the country, some whatever it is, electrical outage, fires. It's going to probably end up being lost in transit. And that the only thing you can do is you can get a hold of UPS and or go to them and give them the tracking number, and they're going to tell you the same thing, that it's in transit, it's at this place. And then after so much time, if it doesn't move, you can claim it as a lost package. Yeah. But if it doesn't get moving pretty soon, that's probably what it's going to be.
Well, you can go to USPS.com and sign up for text or email alerts. That a lot of times gets it, like triggers it. And then if it's been, I think it's, 10 days? You can go in there and put missing mail package. Where's my package? And a lot of times that will get it somehow kicked going again too.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's 7 or 10 days, but yeah, I agree with Mark on that one. I mean, anytime I have a package that's missing or just stuck in transit, go on the Postal Service website and file a missing package claim, and you will see it will 99% of the time it will magically start moving within the next day or two.
It does.
It happens like magic every single time. But
And sign up for the text alerts too. That helps too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to. We learned this on the show a couple of weeks ago. You don't have to wait to file the missing. You can ask them to do an investigation at any time, and that will get it moving too. That's not like an actual lost claim. It's like an investigation one. I've been doing that, and I've been having some getting stuck. I have one stuck right now. Luckily, my buyers have been understanding. I turn on the text notifications, and then I file the missing mail thing, and that has worked thus far. So hopefully that will help. Yeah. All right. Corey is on Facebook, and she said she had a lady buy a duck glass, and she guessed it had a crack. She did not notice. She wanted a return. So of course I'll accept it back. But in the meantime, I accepted. I'm not sure what happened. The feet were both broken. So it had a crack when the buyer got it that she didn't know. And when she got it back though, now the feet are both broken. So what would you do in that situation?
Probably just refund the buyer is what I would do. I know everybody's going to have a different opinion on this probably. But once if they received the item not in the condition, the description, and they sent you back a little notice it was cracked, and now it came back with 2 feet broken off, they could have dropped it. They could have done something. The kids could have knocked it off or something, and now they're upset and want, it's like, okay, I'm just going to return it and get my money back.
Hard to prove.
Yeah, that's it's hard to prove in transit. It does. Who knows what goes on, and you may not have noticed there was a crack when you sent it. That could happen. Like I said, there's probably going to be different opinions on this, but for me, it would be okay. The buyer's gonna send it back. If they don't get their money back, they're probably gonna open a case, and eBay's probably gonna look at it and say, item not described. They said it was cracked. That's the way it is. Give them their money back, or they're gonna take it out anyway.
Yeah, I do the same thing. It's just refund and move on. It's not worth the hassle of them raising a fuss and opening a stupid case, and you end up losing anyway. So yeah, just refund, move on.
Cost of doing business.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, just like everyone else said,
always right.
You messed up. You sent an item that wasn't fully described properly. So you guys got to take this one on the chin and move on. I'm
going to go against the grain. And
say,
if they sent me a picture, it had a crack, I felt it would still be sellable, and they shipped it to me not adequately. So they did not wrap it to protect it. I would deduct it, which you are allowed to do on eBay. You're allowed to deduct up to 50%.
Sure. That's if
so only if I thought it was sellable. But if I didn't think it was sellable, I would have never asked them to return it in the first place. So I'm assuming you thought you could get something for it. And I would also think of the value. So if it's like $20, I'm going to refund them. But if it's like $100 thing that you still think you could get $75 for with a crack, then I would deduct maybe 25 or 30. I would deduct something if it was a higher dollar item. All right, let me pick a winner for the free month of My Reseller Genie, and then we'll give away our 2 packs of Giaro Pack. Dun, 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 dun. Who's going to win? Miss Betty, you're the winner.
Oh, etiquette.
Congratulations. So, Miss Betty, you can email support@myresellergenie.com. Mark, are you on that? He told me he had it, that I didn't need to do it, but I didn't know that. Okay, hashtag Giaro Pack. If you guys do not know, they do have the lowest price on poly mailers. If you haven't bought from them before, you can get, I think, is it 10%? I don't even remember because I'm starting to feel crappy. I think you can get 10% off with the Nurse Flipper for your first order. Rod, is it 10% they give us for the first order?
10%, yeah.
Yeah. 10% with code the Nurse Flipper on gropack.com. We'll give away 2. You can pick whatever size you want for that. Let me get the next question. Miss Linda wants to know if any of us use Photoshop or Lightroom to edit pictures. They're already in her Adobe suite. She pays for Bazaart too, and she's considering Photo Room. So whatever you use must work on MacBook, as she can't use her phone to edit photos.
I've used Photo Room to remove backgrounds or change or add, sometimes to spice up a picture with, but I don't use Photoshop or Lightroom. Most of the time the pictures with the lighting's fine, but again, like I said, sometimes I want a whiter, brighter background or a different something that spices it up, kind of adds to the photo without adding much into it to make it look like you're selling more than one item. Then yeah, I've used Photo Room.
Yeah, I use Photo Room on my phone. I think she's asking about computer though. I know
Photo Room will work on the computer too, though.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, it does. I don't know. She got a MacBook, so I don't know if it works on that. But
I just use my phone.
Yeah, she says she doesn't though. Yeah,
So
I tried Photo Room on the computer. Download it from there.
Photo Room does work on the computer. It just doesn't. The AI backgrounds don't work on the computer, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they do.
They do work on that now?
Yeah, because when I do my listing reviews, I screenshot their stuff and then I go to Photo Room on the computer and use AI to show them like what they could do.
Yeah, Berkshire Pictures in the chat says that the Photo Room does work on a Mac. So
okay, yeah. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah,
I love Photo Room. It's been a game changer for me. If I could only pick like 1 or 2 tools to use for my business, Photo Room would be right up top there.
Right, I think so too.
Yeah. So when I hear Adobe Photoshop, I think very complicated, and when I think very complicated, I think time. And when I hear time, I hear money. So my whole point of that is, unless you're selling $1,000 plus items, I don't think you should be using a more complicated program to edit your eBay pictures. Now, if you're selling $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 items, possibly, if you want it to be perfect. Otherwise, I think Photo Room should do what you are. I would shut off Bazaart. I used Bazaart in the beginning. I still use it for some things, but I don't pay for it anymore. But Photo Room and Berkshire confirmed will work on the MacBook. So I would get Photo Room, and don't spend a ton of time, guys. Time is money, especially if these are $15, $20, $25 items. Don't spend a bunch of time on it. All right, let's pick our 2 winners real quick. I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to cough, and I'll pick one. Okay. Maybe. Okay. Like halfway okay. Dun, da, da, da. Miss Brenda is the first winner. So for this, you will email me, thenurseflipper@yahoo.com. You need to tell me what size you want and what color and your mailing address. And mailing address. I'm typing this as I'm writing it. And let's pick one more winner real quick. Dun, da, da, da. Cindy Snyder is the second winner. So congrats to all of the winners tonight. And thank you to Liz Perfectly, my reseller, Nini, and Giaro Pack. Cute puppy. I have 3 little.
He's our needy 12-year-old chihuahua.
Ours are so funny. So we started putting coats on them because they've gotten older, and it's been 40 in the morning here.
Yeah.
kitty cat.
My girl will not leave her coat. She will not leave her coat on. The boys leave the coats on. She chewed off the buttons off of 2 coats now. So she has a new coat now that's Velcro, and she has so far left it on. So maybe she just doesn't like buttons. I don't know. Oda Lally, and we might need the chat to help with this, guys. She's asking, she doesn't have an eBay store. I know you can't run sales without a store. Can you send coupons? You see Kevin trying to trade you cats for a dog?
Yeah.
They said throw in 3 chickens and they'll take it. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a beautiful
Um,
cat.
I honestly don't know about that. Can you send?
I'm hoping somebody in the chat that doesn't have a store will be able to help us. Because I know you can't do sales, but I don't know if you can do coupons without a store. Does anybody know?
I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think they can.
Because we learned a couple months ago that you can promote without a store, which I didn't know. Oh, they need to know which cats, Kevin. Which cats are you offering? The cat is asking.
Penny likes cats. She don't like other dogs, but she likes cats. That's so weird.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
He said no. Brad and Kim want to know, I think we kind of already talked about this, but do you think it really saves time using a label printer? And we already discussed brands, so is it time saving?
Is it time saving? 1,000%. Yeah. If you're not doing,
it's a total game changer, guys. Get a thermal printer if you're going to do any kind of business.
It pays for itself quickly because of time.
Yeah.
I am gonna agree on that. All right.
Yeah. So my cat's about 17 pounds, by the way. So.
Pig is big too. I'm surprised
he's
he's
just
not
big.
out here
He's just a big
yelling.
cat. Yeah.
Oh wow.
The store had what? I'm like,
No.
I need some meds. Had an international sale, but couldn't see what country it was going to. Is there a way to look it up? I can never figure this out myself. Do you guys know an easy way to see with an international sale where it's going?
Yeah, you gotta go. Where was it at? I just had to look one up. I think it's on. If you go to the shipping page, and then kind of down a little bit further, you'll see. You can click on a button that says "See buyer's actual address."
Right.
You got to click on a button in there somewhere, but it is in there.
Right. I was going to say, I've seen it actually a lot of times on my sales when it'll pop up right away. It'll say where it's going to until you get ready to do the label, and then you can do it. But the other thing is, unless it's going to a company or person that's buying it and then shipping it out, just a sourcing or a warehouse or something that's just doing international shipping for that thing.
The forwarding companies like in Seattle and Miami.
You can also look at the buyer's name and click on the buyer's name underneath their me page.
I have to show this. Kevin, I'm going to give you a shout out. Relish it because it won't happen often. No, I'm just kidding. So I, in one of my catch treasure hunting videos, picked up an ice cream cart for $7. I just sold 3 of the bottoms of the cones for $19.
Oh my gosh.
When in doubt, part it out. I just didn't want to ship the whole dang cart. So I separated into 6 different $15 items off of a $7.50 purchase, and I'm donating the actual giant cart.
And
it sold in a day, one day.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Karen says, I have no returns. So she has no returns turned on right now, that she doesn't accept them. If I did returns, would that save me from paying for returned items? So that was the broken one. So with not as described or broken, you're always going to pay shipping no matter what your return policy is.
Yeah. I have items, my returns, I have full 100% returns on ours. And to be honest, you put in your titles and your description and take good pictures of everything, other than the fact you may have not noticed something when you mailed it out. I'm going to say this whole year, I don't know, you can figure out 10,000 items went out, and we've had maybe 5 returns the whole year. And that's been a good, and on average, never more than 10 or 15 a whole year.
And you always most of the time get a good review because they appreciate that. And that helps in the long run that you're willing to accept.
I always look at, now I'm going to tell you, being an eBay seller, how I look at it If I go on eBay and to buy something and I see it clicked as this
No
seller has
returns.
no returns, I
Uh-huh.
usually don't buy from that
Mm-mm.
person,
Us either.
because it's my thing is no matter how much of a good, honest person that seller is, that why wouldn't they want to have free returns?
They
If-
could miss something.
Yeah, they could have, but they just accidentally did something, didn't package it right, didn't notice something they had, took, when they got it to sell, or the item just is defective, whatever the case may be.
I shy away from no returns too as a buyer.
I won't buy.
I feel that people that have no returns on their items are losing out on money, because knowing that it's just a mental thing. It's just,
and that's my first thought is,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Why
It
would-
makes
why
me
wouldn't they
wonder
accept
what
why
they're
wouldn't they
doing
accept
that
returns?
they won't let you return.
You're not going to lose money. Like I said, most of the time,
because they want that item.
We're
They're
here.
not gonna wanna turn it
You
back.
want to make money. You're going to do the best you can at trying to sell an item, get it out the door as quick as you can, so you have a return, maybe even return buyer later on. So that free returns policy, I think, is just an insurance in other people's mind.
Yeah, I finally
Yeah.
recently went to free returns
Mhm.
just
So-
because it's like I didn't get money anyway. I pack well. I get great customer
Yeah.
service. So I'm backing up what I do. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't have free returns on, but I do have buyer will pay returns. And part of the reason for that is if I do sell a lot of higher dollar items, and if buyer once buys it by mistake or has buyer regrets
Remorse.
buying the items in that, they can return still. They just pay
that's
for the return shipping. But I would say it's better than having no returns on. So regardless of what you do for your business, having no returns is more detrimental to your business than having any type of return policy on there.
Right. I
Just like
agree.
you guys
Yeah,
said,
and free returns, you get a
I agree with
discount.
yeah.
Somebody put that, like, I save like $250 to $300 a month, and I had to just look, and I'm gonna knock on wood as I say this, I don't have any open returns. But I don't get a ton of return. It's crazy. The most returns we've had the past few months are boxes with measurements that didn't fit.
Oh.
And I'm like, there are 3 measurements with a tape measure. Why did you not measure your thing?
And of course, the other thing is, like you just mentioned, the type of items that people sell is going to also determine on probably a return average. When we sell-
Clothing, I feel like
yeah.
especially women's clothes. I don't do women's clothing. I mostly do men's. I do have a return. Why didn't it show? Listen, this lady,
There we go.
the shirt, I am not a girly girl. If you guys don't know me, I'm like t-shirt and most of the time not even jeans, like leggings or pajama pants. Okay. So like it is the shirt in her picture and my picture looks exactly the same. She said, I didn't expect it to be this gold. Friggin' gold. Like it's a gold shirt.
The other
Look,
part,
Troy's alive.
Yeah.
Hi, Troy. He's in the snow alive. Troy said he's swinging it while working on the next project. Wanted to say hey and thanks to Rod for helping him with the new venture. He charges for returns as well. I know. I think George the Antique Nomad has no returns. Just of note. I mean, you have to do what's best for your business, but like they said, and me as a buyer as well, I would shy away from somebody that didn't have them. I'm gonna give Troy the beach so he can warm up because I bet it's cold there.
So big shout out to Troy. If you guys don't know, him and some partners are, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but they're launching.
No, he talked about it.
Oh,
he talked about it on our show. Yeah.
Okay, he did. So they're launching, if you guys don't know, he's launching an auction house on, I think it's through High Bid. So
High Bid, Cat's favorite.
Once he does that, we will be able to promote it for him and check out his first auction. So you guys all support him. It's good to support everyone in this community, guys. So
yeah.
Upper 40s. Hey, that's what it was here. What the heck? I did walk out to the shed in a t-shirt. And it's 40. It's freaking
I'm sorry.
freezing.
It was kind of cold here. It was what, 74 or 5 today?
Yeah. You sure?
I think we're
You
supposed
sound like
to hit.
me.
I think we're supposed to hit 80 degrees in a day or two or something.
Yeah.
86 degrees.
I think our highs are in the 60s for this week here.
Welcome to our winter.
All right. Light Streamer wants to know, what are our thoughts about eBay cutbacks? eBay laid off a bunch of people, and UPS also is laying off people. What say ye about that?
I have no worries or concerns about that. eBay's let
COVID.
people go. They let them go before. We've seen that a couple of years ago, but then COVID came, and a lot of people were working at home, and they hired a bunch of at-home workers. I think right now, no, I have no concerns over anything of a cutback. I think they're letting people go that's post-COVID. They don't need them anymore, and probably, they don't have any direct phone numbers that you can get hold to, and most of those people were probably, type of I'm going to say phone retailers or not retailers. People to answer the phone, or
Customer
customer service.
Yeah, customer service.
Yeah, I know they have another name. I couldn't think of what agents. But I'm just no concern for me for that at all.
I mean, we can't do anything about it anyway,
Yeah.
so just keep doing you and don't worry about it. It's not worth the time.
I mean, anytime you deal with a big corporation that's publicly traded, they have to look out for the bottom line first and foremost. eBay is not doing a lot to bring new buyers to the platform compared to what they have in the previous years, but there's also a lot more competition.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. I mean, everybody in the tech industry right now is laying people off. Google, UPS, you had eBay. There's a lot of other places too. So it's just part of the business. I mean, everyone like you mentioned, they did a ton of hiring during the pandemic, and they were slowly cutting back over time. And it's beginning of the year, and they're looking out for the bottom line, for the first quarter. So it's just business as always. Just keep doing what you guys can control, and unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not worrying about it. I don't ever try to get a hold of a person except for on eBay for Business on Facebook. So eBay people are not processing any of our orders. We are, so it doesn't cut back on labor we get. As a business owner myself, if I needed to let people go, that's what I would do. And I think as a company, even more, like Rod said, they're publicly traded. They have to watch their bottom line. So I would just keep on chugging along. Brad and Kim. Okay, this is a soapbox topic for me. I will preface that, but I'll wait till it's my turn. They said, is it just me, or do buyers really not care about leaving feedback? I gladly leave feedback if they do, but some don't even bother.
Feedback is great for when you're first starting off, or you're wanting to grow your store as a seller. Afterwards, I'll leave feedback if I buy a purchase, because that's what I believe to do. But feedback's not there's a lot that can be said about that. But feedback's not a big issue once you get some items sold. The main thing is as a beginner seller to try to get as much feedback as you can. There's so many easy ways to do that. But after that, feedback's not, I don't think means much, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's another one of those things. Don't fret over it. Don't waste your time over it. If you leave feedback for them, great, but just keep going on. Don't poke the bear asking for it either, because you might not like what you get.
I say look at the percentages. Where you got the shipping time, the packaging time, all that stuff. When you see a seller, you could look at their percentage score, and you don't always have to go with that either. But if you're going to order something and they're a big store or something, and they have, or they're a little store and their feedback is low, 91, 92, whatever percentage of their score, that's something to look at. Now, if it's a big, huge store that they have pages and pages and thousands and hundreds of items, and they have a score of 93, 94, then I wouldn't worry about that too much, because they do so much volume. They probably get returns. You're just going to get people that just get upset. But feedback is
only about 20 to 25% of the people leave feedback anyway.
Yeah, it's not very much.
So
I was going to say the same thing, but
one out of 10.
But my biggest thing is I have a lot of people, especially in the new, they'll reach out to buyer stuff. Don't if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know, it's
I
one
am
of those
not
things.
gonna
Yeah.
give you feedback.
Yeah, so don't. I mean, because people may not have been happy with it, but then forgot about it, and then like, oh, then you just reminded them stuff like that. So I just say, just keep selling. The feedback will come.
Yeah.
Just keep doing what you can control, and you know, there's nothing you can do. You can't force people to leave your feedback.
I'm gonna add one more thing I'd like to add before Kat jumps on her soapbox. Is, you know, a long while back, and I don't know how long you guys been selling on eBay, but I remember a long while back, eBay really used to push out. What was that? I can't remember the name of it, but you used to be an eBay. Crap! Somebody in the chat.
Power seller.
A what?
Or
Power
Power
seller.
seller?
Yeah, but there was a term for, and someone in the chat could put it out there.
Like a 5-star.
What you used to be able to do, like, you know, used to promote, or you could push out like in advertisements or newspapers or whatever, and say you're a certain kind of a seller or something like that. Anyway, the whole thing is at that point in time, they had those rating systems where they would they'd even send out free business cards to you with your store on it, or you could go get your own. And there's people that still do that. If you go look at them, and it'll say, rate my store, you know, we appreciate your business, rate my store, don't leave a negative feedback before contacting us. And they always have that little rating stars. You've probably seen them. You probably received a business card from someone if you ordered off eBay, and they'll have the little satisfied, you know, store stars or something like that. And I could probably go run and go grab one because I still have some. But my thing is just delete that. Don't have that kind of stuff. If you're going to say thank you, if you want to put a thank you note or write thank you or something, do that. But, you know, don't go all the way out and say, yeah, you know, please leave a feedback and rate my store at high 5 stars rating and have the little 5 stars and all that. I mean, I think that's nice, but when you start asking or you start feeling, you know, pushy or things like that, I got those cards and I'd send them out and they didn't do a hill beans. And the funny thing is whenever I got the same card or similar type card, whenever I ordered something, I didn't feel like I wanted to leave anything because it was like, you're telling me I got to do this and I should be my choice. And so, yeah.
Roy got on a soapbox before I did.
Sorry.
I say as a seller, you should have automatic feedback turned on. 1, it saves you time. 2, your buyer's job is to pay for the item. They pay for it. They've done their job. Leave them feedback. You shouldn't withhold feedback waiting for them. And they might be withholding it waiting for you, and then you're never going to get feedback. 2, if they say nothing, they're happy. Leave them alone. If you pester me, I'm half tempted to go leave you a not so nice one. They wouldn't leave me alone about shipping. One person's messaged me like 4 times about, like, it irritates the living daylights out of me. Leave me alone. If I want to leave feedback, I'll leave it. If I don't, then I'm fine. I'm happy. How many times do you leave feedback on Amazon? Amazon asks you to leave feedback. I've never left feedback on Amazon.
Shoot, even going to the doctors, they send you a text.
I got that today.
Yeah,
would you please rate your visit? No, like you don't care anyway, you ding dong. Like
you canceled my appointment.
Yeah.
Or something.
I'm like, I don't
know if you know, they change insurance reimbursements based off patient feedback now too.
They do patient fee, but I just didn't give them any, so they don't. That's not bad. It's not good. They just don't get any.
Yeah.
Bye, Kevin. He's like, cats on our soapbox. I gotta go bye. So yeah, I think I agree with Roy and Kim. I don't think putting the cards in there is worth it. If I get one of those cards, it goes straight from the box into the trash. I'm not even reading it. I'm sorry if you like to write the hand notes. I want my item. I want it in good condition, and that's all I care about. If you send in a clean pizza box, I'm not going to complain if it's okay. Like, it's fine. As long as it's a clean pizza box. If it's a dirty one, then we might have a thing. So I would turn on auto feedback. They did their job. They paid for it. Why withhold feedback from them?
And if
they don't leave it be. Leave it be.
Kat, there is another. I don't know how Instagram is, but I know on TikTok, like if someone does, reseller has a TikTok on there. Sometimes people will forward their TikToks into the message because they want you to go watch it or click on it or whatever. And I know resellers in different businesses do that as well. And I find that so aggravating because
I could never listen. I have cards. They're probably here somewhere because I never remember to put the friggin' things in the box. And somebody asked something about that. Like, am I worried? Like, if I remembered, if I could get tape cheap that like said the nurse flipper, I would, because it's advertisement for me, especially on the outside of the box, right? Because every person who handles that box would see the nurse flipper, but it's expensive. But I wouldn't care if they come and watch and see I paid $5 and they paid 50. Well, I went out and searched for it. And I don't think I think the majority of people realize the time and effort, you know, somewhat. Like, obviously they couldn't get it for $5 or they would have. They wouldn't have paid me 50. See, now there is one exception to this rule, LaDonna, and that is, why can I not think of Joe's name? Joe and Kasha on Whatnot send Ukrainian milk chocolate candies that are amazing. And they're the only ones they can send me candy, and I eat it. And if they poison me, I would be dead by now because I eat every single one. And Dalton likes them too. They send us Ukrainian candies. Kasha's from the Ukraine. And that's my exception to candy. Other than that, I've had candy melt and get on jewelry.
Yeah.
The chocolate Ukrainian stuff doesn't melt, just FYI.
Real quick, Matt, Rebecca in the chat's asking where the automatic feedback button is. Rebecca, if you go to your seller hub and under the feedback section, just kind of look down and you'll see manage auto feedback.
I got candy
one time that I've gotten it quite, I think it's a Whatnot thing. Whatnot sellers like to put candy.
I got Tootsie Rolls. I got Tootsie Rolls and made a video. Would you eat this?
We didn't know them either. We didn't know where they were coming from.
The comments.
I mean, I don't know them. I mean, I feel like I know them because I used to watch them all the time, and now we talk on the phone. But I mean, it's really good candy. Berkshire Picker says, how many days do we put for handling time? She was doing same day or one day, but when you get a lot of packages, she can't do it. So what do we put for our handling time?
Within 2 days.
For us, I mean, I guess, you know, we do 1 day handling time. I know there's people that do 2 day handling times, and that's just, I mean, that's fine. But I mean, we don't, in the little area we have we have community mailboxes, so we can't have a post, the mail come and pick it up from our house. So pretty much every day we're going to the post office, but we're out running around doing something else anyway. So whether it's, and if it's a lot of packages, I do it. But the reason I like it is this is my mentality way of thinking is something sells today. It has to have a tracking number by tomorrow at midnight. However, it doesn't have to go out tomorrow by midnight. It can actually, I can send it out the third day, and it's still going to be covered, and it's still going to arrive in time. And so there are times where something sells today that I may not have been able to get to it all the way till tomorrow evening or something. Maybe, I'm not saying one item, but maybe I'm off doing things all day long, or out sourcing, or out playing around, or whatever. And I may not get home till the evening, and you got to pack up 5-10 items or whatever. Okay. And it's still not going out till the next day, even though I got that tracking number before 11:59 at night. So even though I have 1 day handling time,
3 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah. For me, it's 11:59. So, but I'm just saying that even though I have 1 day handling time, as long as I got it done by the end of the second day by midnight, before 11:59, I'm good. So I leave it at 1 day.
I've got my store set at 2 day handling, but 99% of the time I'm shipping in 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
And weekends, something sells on Friday, you got till Monday at 11:59. You know.
Yeah. Just because sometimes something comes up, can't make it. I got that extra day.
Yeah, I'm the same way. So I'm a one-man show. I do all my video editing, all my sourcing. I do shipping, everything, whatnots, pretty much. So I have 2-day shipping on. So I under-promise, over-deliver. Usually ship out mine within 1 day. But I always like to have the extra leeway because if I get a call for a private pick or something pops up, I can just go and not worry about my packages.
Sure.
So for the discount I was referring to earlier about having free shipping, you also have to have 1-day handling. So I have 1-day handling on. I would say, like, if you get a lot of packages, pack them up the night before. Like if they sell in the afternoon into the morning, pack some of them the night before so they're done. And then you could pack the rest in the morning. The 1-day handling for the discount would be the only. Other than that, I think you're fine to put 2 or 3. I used to do 2 or 3, but now I want my discount, so I have to do 1 day. But I mean,
here's my example. And look, I even got the eBay Carnival tape. But here's my example, and I want you to label. So this sold yesterday, and I had things to do, different things like that. So the label's printed. And of course, it's going to say it's going to go out today, but it's really not going to go out tomorrow. So this is just one item that, that I'm
and
just
Saturday is not a business day. eBay will tell you to ship, but it's not required on Saturday. It is not a business day. It doesn't count. But I will tell you, like, I can pack 50 items in 3 hours, even with breakables.
Just don't
at
change
like
your
worst
shipping
case
date.
by myself. We got 50 items out in like 40 minutes yesterday with 2 of us. So it would have taken an hour and 20 with one person.
My biggest thing I would suggest,
maybe Rod does have a Super Bowl ad. He's got the big bucks.
I got the big bucks.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I would just say to everybody is please don't change your shipping date on your labels and stuff. I don't know if y'all do that. I've seen people do that or heard other people do that in their videos because they're whatever. But don't change your shipping date. If the item's got to be done by, like I said, for us 11:59 tomorrow, and you say, oh, I can't make it or whatever, but I'm going to change the shipping date to the following day because that's the day I know that I'll be able to ship it out, and you only have 1 day.
Don't do it; it won't count.
Yeah, that'll give you that'll burn you. So
I thought eBay didn't count it until the post office scanned the acceptance, though, not when you print the label.
That's true, but if you put a date after your 1 day shipping time, like I said, tomorrow would be 11:59. But if I don't put it for the following day and UPS scans it on that day, they can't scan it a day that doesn't early.
Yeah, that's true.
So that can be. So if you're doing 1 day shipping, don't change the date. If you're doing 2 day shipping, that should give you enough time, and you still shouldn't change the date. But I've heard people on the videos. I've heard people say that on some videos that they've changed the date, and I think that'll burn you in the end.
All right. Have any of us made or have we thought about making a video about buyers scamming on eBay?
I've briefly touched on it. Enough people have made enough little scammer video and things out there, but I've had the biggest scam I get. I mean, I'm going to call it a scam. Is I will have that the item isn't described for whatever reason, and this happens. I'm only going to say maybe a couple times a year, and or whatever the case may be, and I'll say, okay, sorry to hear about that. Please ship the item back, and you'll get a refund. And they never ship the item back. So, like I said, I'm not going to say that that's a scam. I mean, if they want their money back, they're going to ship it. But sometimes I think they're trying to catch people to say, oh, don't worry about shipping it back. Here's a refund. So, but other than that, like I said, and other than one instance with the expensive camera or something we talked about earlier, we don't.
Haven't got too much.
No. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of new to YouTube still, so I'm still trying to figure out how to just make a basic video. But I probably wouldn't, just because my channel, I would rather keep it more upbeat and positive.
Mhm.
And on the negative side, like you said, there's tons of videos out there of people talking about that kind of stuff. So let them do it.
Yeah, I don't have one now. I'll probably end up doing one in the future, some point in time, just to maybe help educate the new buyers about what to look out for.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with scams is scammers are always going to be one step ahead. So there's new scams coming out all the time. It's not till we get hit with those scams that we can try to combat it or fight it. So,
And I feel like most scammers, it's common sense. Hey, email me off the platform. Hey, call me. Hey, buy me a gift card. Like, I feel like in 2024, all of us should know these signs, guys.
Yeah.
Like, to not just ignore them. Just ignore them. Do not pay attention to them. So like for me, it would be like a 2-second video. Maybe I could do a short because they're very, very obvious. And I'm like Marsha, and obviously I'm not new on YouTube, but I don't want to dwell on the negative when it's like less than 1% of the time. Like I'm not using scare tactics to try and make you scared to death of scammers. The reality is it's a very, very low percent that it happens to. And if you focus on scammers, if you focus on you're worried about getting returns, you're never going to get friggin' sales. Like that's stuff that happens. It happens rarely. It's part of doing business. If you're scared of it, you're not going to progress in your business.
With your business, you should literally have in your bottom line, you should have factor in for returns, factor in for scans, factor in for breakables along the way. So maybe it's 2%, 5%, whatever you want to do, but it's just like Kat said, it's cost of doing business. So if you factor those percentages in that at some point in time you're going to run into those, and it doesn't matter at that point in time. It's just wipe your hands of it and move on, because you already factored into your business.
Yeah, because like to get mad about it, you're wasting your time, your energy, and time is money.
Yeah.
Noni, if something arrives broken, do you have to refund or can you make a claim through a UPS? You're both on right. You have to refund and then you can make a claim. But make sure the buyer sends you pictures of the box and the item so that you have it. Tell them to hold it because sometimes USPS will have them bring it in. But if they refuse to do it, personally, I'd refund them anyways because I think it's unfair to expect a buyer to bring crap to the post office.
This is a new one going around. I just want to bring attention to that. There's the people, you get this text message that say that you have a package that's not been delivered or is still at the post office. Then when you click on a link, put your information, it's a scam. So if you ever look at it's coming from an email address, not from an actual phone number. So just be careful on that one because we ship so many items.
People will also message too and say, hey, I didn't get my item at this address. And you go look and they never bought a friggin' item from you. So be very, very careful of that too.
What she means by that is it's items that have already been sold on eBay. And after they've been directly sold, they'll message you that same day or the next, or maybe a day or two later, say, hey, I never got this item.
Yeah, I've had that from Amazon. I've actually about 4 times, and all 4 times now I order stuff from Amazon, but all 4 times I got those, I have nothing coming to me from Amazon, and I'm like, okay.
I get UPS ones all the time. We can't deliver your package, blah blah blah.
Oh yeah,
we can't find your address or something, whatever.
Yeah, it's stupid. Annie wants to know if any of us sell on Etsy, and if we don't, why not?
I don't, and I don't know why not.
I used to and stopped because they wanted to start pushing you to mandatory pay for off-site ads. And I was like, nope, not doing that. So
yeah, I do not sell on Etsy. So if you guys don't know, you have to sell handmade items or items that are vintage, 20 years or older. And for me, it's just not part of my business model for what I sell. So I decided not to. But you guys need any information on handmade, any information on Etsy, go see Handmade and Beyond on YouTube. Great page.
Yeah, and he's been on with us as well, guys. I quit selling on Etsy about 2 or 3 months ago because Etsy's harder to list on, and I didn't feel the sales we were getting were worth the effort we were putting into Etsy. So that is why I stopped selling on Etsy. If you do vintage clothing, that I see does very, very well on there. There are a lot of categories that do very well on there. So it might be worth it for you, but for me, it was not worth it. Mike and Mitzi said they combined shipped 3 separately listed golf clubs. The buyer returned all 3 clubs separately. Is there any recourse to get that money back for the extra 2 packages? They offer free return. Mike and Mitzi, I hope you're still in the chat. Tell us if they filed it through eBay and if eBay sent them those labels, or did they just mail it back to you without an eBay label? But we can answer if anybody knows, but I'm just wondering those things.
That happened to me. eBay sent them 2 shipping labels. So that's usually what happens if you do they did a combined order and they just send them separate shipping labels. So unfortunately, all my packages came back in separate orders.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never had that happen to me, so
There's no recourse though. I had somebody do that, and they're lucky I'm honest, because through eBay. So no, there's nothing you can do. That's just eBay's system on returns, because if they only wanted to return 1, then they would give them that. My buyer returned 2 items in 1 box. They returned it like I sent it, but then they had no proof that they sent the other one, but I still refunded them for it. But they were just following what eBay told them to do. So they didn't know any better than to do that.
The reason behind that is because you purchase those items as 3 separate purchases. Yeah. And then when they go to file the refund or file the return, it's filed as 3 separate, even though you combine shipping and you combine the items there. So unfortunately, there's not much you can do in situations like that.
yeah.
They're punishing the sellers for the buyers combining sales, Caroline, not the buyers. The buyers aren't getting penalized. Right. Lynn wants to know if any of us have been getting a lot of 0 feedback buyers.
Getting a lot of 0 feedback. I mean, you mean we're not getting feedback from sales?
No, like people that don't have any feedback.
Okay, yeah, that's a subject. Yeah, I do, and I'm not. Yeah, if I don't care who it is. If somebody buys something, they got 0 feedback. I'm going to sell it to them. And generally, because I mean, there's tons of people every day that are first time ever signing up for eBay, so they're going to have 0 feedback. So I'm never concerned about 0 feedback, and I have never had a problem with anybody that had a 0 feedback score. Not to say it can't happen, not to say it could be a scammer or something like that. And I know you can set your store for not selling to anybody that has 0 feedbacks, but I find that, like I said, there's up and coming age groups all the time that are first time ever signing up for eBay or first time ever buying off eBay, just like any other platform. And I sell to 0 feedback sellers a lot. I'm going to say a lot.
Yeah, I do too. And I'll welcome any day, because a lot of them, they find your items like on Google and, their places, and they're coming in and they don't have an account. So they're going ahead and buying your item, and they've never been on eBay before. So yeah, I'll take them all day long.
So what a lot of people don't think about is when you see a 0 feedback, that means eBay is doing their business, bringing in a brand new client to the platform. So I'm going to encourage that every single time. That means there's new, fresh blood on the platform buying stuff from us. Also, too, they have a new thing where you guys they're promoting your items through Google. So that means that maybe someone on Google saw it, you can check out as a guest on eBay as well. So someone could be just on Google checking out as a guest. So there's a lot of good things when you have a 0 feedback, and everyone gets super scared because they want to think the worst about a scammer and everything else. But I would say I can count on one hand the amount of issues I had in over 20 years on eBay with 0 feedback buyers. So I encourage it, because usually and not to mention, they usually pay up for items because they're new to the platform. So they're not trying to negotiate and send you best offers. They're usually just paying your flat price and moving on because they just want the item.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't pay attention, so I don't know, because I am perfectly fine selling to 0 feedback buyers. If somebody checks out as a guest, they show up as a 0 feedback buyer. I say this every time this comes up, because if I'm trying to buy something for my husband, I don't want him to see it. I'll check out as a guest, and then I would show up as 0 feedback.
When we all started out as either buyers or sellers, we all had 0 feedback when we started, and somebody sold to us.
So a little PSA announcement here. If you have on your eBay account, you can go in there and you can actually set your settings to restrict buyers like 0 feedback, 1 feedback, whatever you want to do that. Do not do that, guys.
Yeah.
I did that a long time
The
ago.
only restriction
know any
I
better.
do is if
Yeah.
they have over 2 unpaid
Yes.
items, I won't
Yeah.
let them buy from me.
Yeah, I had the same thing, over 2 unpaid items on there, but keep that open because you want fresh buyers. You want new people coming through and look at your stuff. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's try and get through these last 3 real quick. Any tips for a new Poshmark user?
I sell on Poshmark, but I haven't done a lot, so I'm gonna have to pass that one on because there's so much more to it that I'm doing.
I have an account but never listed, so I'm going to have to pass too.
Get a free program that shares your store daily throughout the day and send offers.
Yeah, that is exactly what I would say. I have a program that I use to share out, and I make most of my sales. And actually, my video on Thursday is going to be on Poshmark, so watch. It is going to be on Poshmark and Mercari, and I'm going to go over stuff like that, like offers. So watch that.
Did you ask that question? You just set that up. That was nicely done there, Kat.
I think she did.
Are you Gene? Are you Gene? Okay, just checking.
He paid her to say that. She paid her to.
Nicely done. Nicely done there.
Leo says, can you change the name of your eBay account without affecting anything? Yes, I believe it's once every 90 days or something. Okay, last question. We got through all the questions. Yay. How do you feel about USPS package pickup? If you couldn't go to USPS, would you use it?
All right. Where we used to live, I actually had a special mailbox made out of brick where the back side of it, I could slide in a mail carrier into it, a U.S. Post Office mail carrier, or actually a couple of them. And it was just a real big mailbox looking from the front on a fancy brick post, but from the back side, it was completely empty.
See it.
And my mail carrier knew, because we talked to her, every day she'd come and she'd look and see if there was anything back there. So I didn't even have to schedule it.
Yeah.
Now, where we moved to now, community, like I said, community mailboxes. I said this earlier.
Yeah.
So
We have to go post
UPS or they don't come to the individual houses here. They go to that little thing. So we can't do a pickup. So we have to take it now. But yeah, if it's available for you, and you're going to be, and the other thing is depending on where your location or where you live or where you're going to put your packages, because you don't want to put your packages outside and then leave. And you want to keep an eye on or know that when they're picked up, or some houses, some sort of security, because again, depending on where you live or how they are, rain, people, whatever, something could affect the packages. So
Yeah, we have the community areas with the mailboxes too, so we couldn't do it. But I kind of not trusting to people, being a former police officer. So yeah, I wouldn't do it either. Anyway, I just don't trust people.
Yeah.
So I would love to do it because it would save me time, even though I'm like a mile or two from my postal service. But I live in a brand new neighborhood and they weren't allowing pickups at first. But I will say, if you guys do pickups, make sure you take care of your postal people. Leave bottles of water out there.
Yeah.
Leave them a thank you card during holiday time. Give them a $5-10 gift card every once in a while.
I give mine a really nice tip.
Yeah, it goes a
But
long
I'm
way.
not going to say what it is because you're not technically allowed to give them over $20. But I give mine a very, very nice tip every Christmas. But I'm not going to say it because I don't want them to get
you're
in trouble.
ensuring your packages get there right and make sure they're going to be taken care of, and they're going to go above and beyond for you. And if you need a little extra stuff, they're always going to be able to help you out. So
I put little cookies or different things, a little note, thank you, or always something.
gift card.
Yeah, gift card.
take care of the people that take care of you 100%.
I want to set up one of those stations next holiday season, with like the chips and the drinks and the coffee. I want to do that next year because I should really do that year round because I source from home and I get so many packages. I should do that all the time. I used to use USPS package pickup, but because I like my postal worker, I do not anymore. Because she would probably have to make 2 or 3 trips on Mondays to take my packages. And she would, but we like her. We have a truck so we can load them all up. So we just take them ourselves. They're actually pretty nice about, they've even stayed open late for us on Mondays when we're running late. Like we know the postmaster by name. Brad has her on Facebook Messenger. Hey, I'm coming. So if I couldn't go to USPS, would I use it? Yes. With the volume of packages I have, I choose not to be nicer to my postal workers.
I would say most USPS workers, if you're you may schedule, if you do that, schedule package pickups. Most of them, you probably only have to schedule it 1, 2, 3 times. And then after that, if you just talk to them, they'll know to come by your house and take a look. That's the way ours did it. Ours just
Yes,
I
I've
never
heard
scheduled it.
horror stories. Some of them are not so nice and don't pick them up. So
Or if
I've heard that.
if they have a substitute or someone there because the original mail carrier was sick or off or something, that other person may not pay attention and not pick it up, and then you're stuck.
We're so sad. Ours is retiring in April, and the dogs are going to be so sad because she gives them treats every day, and they hear her coming like a half a mile down the road. They have a special bark. I know it's the mail lady coming because she gives them treats. The cats run out to greet her, but she is retiring in April. So, all right, guys, I'm going to make Roy and Kim big and Marsha, and then Rod and myself will tell you what we got going on. And yeah, so here is Roy and Kim.
Well, we appreciate everybody coming and watching today and being here. And we want to say, come on, check out our channel, Arcade Treasure Center. Also, the name of our eBay store. If you'd like to look at some of the items we have, we don't have a bunch of items in there because we really niched down for over the Christmas time. But it's the same name, Arcade_Treasure_Center. And if you just want to say hi or give a shout out, we're on Instagram, Arcade Treasure Center. Can't beat it, right? So, but yeah, we thank y'all, and we want to just say, everyone have a great, great life and be safe and do well to others.
Bye, guys.
Perfect. Here's Marsha.
Hey guys, thanks for joining. Thanks for having me on. Be forewarned, I'm back in the chat next week. And you can find me on eBay, Instagram. I have a Whatnot show for costume jewelry Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, so check that out. And YouTube, I am going to start making some videos again, so please check me out over there.
Perfect. Rod, what's going on?
Dropped a new video today on my Picking and Punching channel. Go check it out. And as when I was in Orlando at the Trash Cash Bash, going garage selling down there. And then always check out my second channel, Flipping and Punching. You want more of what's sold in the business side of things. And then I'm going to be live on Whatnot tomorrow night doing Disney pins. And then on Friday, I'm doing a massive big show with ADH Dave and the Art of Resale. We're doing 8 hours on Whatnot. So Dave's going from 2 to 6. I'm going from 6 to 8. And I'm going, and Art of Resale is going from 8 to 10. And I'm giving away Nintendo Wii again. So Marsha won the first one.
Yep, I got it.
So, but yeah, all you have to do is show up, guys. I'm going to give away a free Wii.
So thank you to everybody for being in the chat. Roy, Kim, Marsha, Rod, thank you for being here. Next week, we have Vintage Sport Flips and Soda Flips on with us. They have not been on with us before. And then I will have a video out on my catch treasure hunting channel tomorrow, another estate sale video. And then Thursday will be the Poshmark and Mercari on this channel. And if you guys want to follow my new Instagram, it's Operation Healthy Cat, and watch me sweating and trying to get healthier. I appreciate you all. We are here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.